welcome or welcome back to Not Made. I'm Rachel, the creator of Not Made, and a bunch of random plushies and other crocheted items. So today is day 5 of the Crochet Advent calendar put out by All from Jade. And the pattern today is by Mama Made Minis. So I have heard her name mentioned multiple times in other people's videos when they're talking about stuff that they've made. And I don't think I've ever made one of her patterns before. So today was an exciting adventure in that. And without further ado, let's get into the pattern. Alright, so that was the Affirmation Rainbow by Mama Made Minis. My thoughts on the pattern. First of all, I've never made a rainbow before. I've seen them like a little while back. They were like all the rage. They were in like every baby blanket and all of like the wall hangings and all of the stuff, the crocheted rainbows, and it just never was something that I was interested in. It's not really my style, so I have not made it. So I was a little concerned about rainbow colors. I don't really have like standard rainbow colors. Like I probably do, but not all in the same yarn weight or category. So I just went ahead and used what I had closest in the posh. This is what we came up with. There's like a little lavender, and then I used a, I did have a deeper blue, but I felt like this kind of aqua went along better with the other shades. And then I had yellow and kind of like a coral almost, and then a bright pink on top for the red. I actually like the way these colors turned out. My son was like, is it a rainbow? And I'm like, yeah, you have to ask, really? And he's like, well, it kind of looked like a colorful fortune cookie. I'll get into that in a second. Okay, so about this pattern. First off, this yarn is not the yarn that was recommended in the pattern, so that might have had something to do with it. She recommended Bernat blanket yarn, which I am phasing out. If you've watched any of my other videos where I mention it, it hurts my hands and wrists to use Bernat blanket for plushies. I don't know what the deal is with it, if it's just a little bit more friction having to use that yarn. I don't know, but I do have some still, and I'll be using it until it's gone, but I'm not planning on restocking Bernat blanket anyway. So I didn't have that, and I wouldn't have used it if I did. So this may be slightly smaller. I mean, I'm sure it is smaller than it would be if I had used Bernat blanket. And then she called for in the pattern a size 7mm hook, and I was like, I don't even know what that is. Okay. Anybody else get confused between the letters and the numbers on the hook sizes? Because I started crocheting very long time ago. I always went by the letters. I never really even looked at the numbers much before recently when people, you know, they use the millimeter set, which makes more sense. It really does make more sense to go by the number size than the letter. But my very first hook, this is not it, but it was similar to this, was a J hook, okay? J is, oh goodness, 6 millimeters. The size hook that I use for the plushies that I make with Posh is an I, and it's 5.5. Then your J, H-I-J, okay? So the distance between I and J is 0.5, okay? So I went looking through, and I have made some blankets and stuff with large yarn. So I have an L. L is very huge. It is a 8. So I was like, okay. H-I-J-K-L. All right. I also have a K. All right, I found it. Got the K. Okay. Now the K is a oh my goodness, 6.5. Yeah, I can't read. All right, so J 6, K 6.5, L is an 8. Now, how does that make sense? Because they're asking for a 7 millimeter hook, and if you just go by the letters, we totally skipped over. And this is not the first time that this has happened to me, where I'm looking for a specific size hook, and then I'm looking through all of the letters because I got a whole kit full of, you know, different size hooks, and it goes in alphabetical order. No letters are skipped, but size numbers are skipped. So how does that work, and why is it that way? I did, by the way, find a 7 millimeter hook because somebody gifted me these hooks at one point with the little, and I don't use them very often, but I did find a 7 millimeter. I don't even know if that will focus. So, yep, that's it. And it has no letter on it because none of these hooks had letters. They just had the numbers. So, I don't understand the rhyme and reason about hook sizing, but all that to say, I didn't use this hook. Now, if I had been using Bernat Blanket, this might have been a really good hook size to wear. I probably looked all cross-eyed just then. But I just used my eye hook for this little rainbow, okay? And that was a complete aside. After all of that, let's go ahead and get into the actual rainbow. But seriously, if you understand the whole hook sizing concept and rhyme or reason behind it, please tell me in the comments, because this is not the first time I've run up against this problem, and I do not understand. Like, why do we even have letters? And if we have letters, why don't they match up with the numbers? Why are we skipping numbers altogether? I don't know. Don't get it. So, the pattern. Okay, so this ended up being a trust the process pattern for me. This is, like I said, first time I ever made a pattern by Mama Made Minis, but I've heard multiple mentions of that creator because people apparently use their patterns a lot. Coffee. But I had to frog this so many times. I don't know if you can see it on the time lapse, but my stitch count kept coming up wrong. The rounds were not intuitive. It was like you really had to pay attention to whether it's like 3 SC increase, 2 SC increase, 4 SC increase. It wasn't like there was like a pattern. I mean, I know there was a pattern, but it was a big pattern. So it wasn't like you could just kind of go into autopilot and go through. That was a struggle for me. And then I was like, I don't know how to make it into a rainbow shape. Now, the finishing instructions were where I felt like I was really lost, because I did not know how to make this middle section an arch. It said fold in half, wrong sides together. So if you do that, it's just like straight across flat on the bottom. And then it said to whip stitch the middle section, okay, the arch. So I just kind of did my best guess with that. I went in and tried to pull those sections together, and I think, it turned out. It was fine. It just wasn't super clear. It just kind of said, you know, whip stitch it together and poof, you have a rainbow. And I was like, I would have liked a little bit more detail on how to do that exactly. And then as far as the middle section, the purple here, it called for 18 single crochets in the magic ring. And like I said before, if you've been following along, I don't do magic rings and I definitely couldn't do 18 crochet into the little loop that I use. So I just went ahead and added an extra row so around. I did 9 in the magic ring, and then I did increases for the second one because I was like, I can't make that happen. And maybe that threw stuff off, I don't know. But regardless, we got there in the end with the correct amount of stitches. So partway through, and I was getting really frustrated with the stitch count not showing up and just getting lost in the pattern and not remembering where I was. Which part of that is just because it's early morning, I hadn't had all my coffee yet, and my brain was not functioning on full thrusters. So none of that is the pattern's problem whatsoever, but I was struggling, and I was definitely in the, okay, this is, I'm never making this pattern again crowd. But by the time I got to the end, I feel like it, you know, again, it's to trust the process. And I got to the point where I could, I would say, I could do this one again. I feel like this would make a really cute, like, keychain slash backpack buddy, because there's no face. I did experiment with safety eyes, and I couldn't get the placement to where it looked like a decent thing. It doesn't look like it should have eyes. So I kind of like it the way it is. No eyes, but I could see putting a little, you know, plastic keychain on the top and having this be like a little backpack buddy, because that would make sense to me. So I would not say that I won't do this pattern again. I don't know when I'll do it again because it's not, again, rainbow stuff and things like this are not really my personal style. But yeah, it's not a problem with the pattern. The problem was with my early morning brain this morning. So I think it turned out well. I like the way it all came together. And, you know, in the end, I ended up with a rainbow, exactly like I should have had. So, all right, today is Thursday, December the 5th. And I did get a comment on one of my videos by All From Jade. I really need to find out. I'm assuming her name is Jade. But anyway, her channel, she's the one who did the advent calendar, and she commented, which made me so happy, but she said that there will be bigger patterns released on the weekends when, you know, presumably we have more time, and to not get discouraged if I can't finish it all in one day like I have been doing, because these little makes are fairly easy to do within that amount of time. So it's fine. The advent calendar was not set up to be a challenge necessarily. I just took it upon myself as a challenge because I wanted it to push me to do more patterns I hadn't done before, and also get out more crochet content on my YouTube channel. So that's the challenge for me. So if I don't finish a bigger piece in one day, I'm still going to make a video about it, and it's fine if it doesn't, you know, line up with having one done every single day. But I was really happy that she put out that information and she gave me that heads up, because that was very kind. But in the meantime, go and make Mama Made Minis. Oh my goodness, I almost said Advent Rainbow. No, it is an affirmations rainbow. And I got a frog in my throat, so I'm gonna go. Bye guys, see you later. Oh, and just to address the elephant in the room, this is my cloffice. It is a walk-in closet that has been converted into my office space, and also it doubles as storage for whenever we need to put some stuff elsewhere. Right now, I am surrounded by piles of Black Friday and Cyber Monday Christmas shopping deals that I need to get through, because I literally have like a teeny weeny little space that I can squeeze through to get out the door, and I'm sitting on my little stool here just like surrounded, like literal piles of stuff. It's making me crazy. So we need to get everything wrapped and moved under the tree so that I don't have to have it in my space anymore. So anyway, that's this whole situation here. I'm very thankful that you cannot see the rest. Toodles!